Ambassador Volker, you testified during your deposition that aid, in fact, does get held up from time to time for a whole assortment of reasons. Is that your understanding?
That is true.
And sometimes the holdups are rooted in something at OMB, sometimes it's at the Defense Department, sometimes it's at the State Department, sometimes it's on the Hill, correct?
That is correct.
And so when the aid was held up for 55 days for Ukraine, that didn't, in and of itself, strike you as uncommon?
No, it's something that had happened in my career in the past. I'd seen holdups of assistance. I just assumed it was part of the decision-making process. Somebody had an objection, and we had to overcome it.
Okay. And in fact, there were concerns that, perhaps President Zelensky wasn't going to be the reformer that he campaigned on?
That was a supposition that I made because of the meeting with the president on May 23rd. I thought that could be what's behind it.
And in fact, the aid was lifted shortly after he was able to convene a parliament?
I believe he, let me get the date straight. I believe, yes, he was able to convene the parliament around the 1st of September, and I believe the aid was released on the 11th of September.
And when he was able to convene a parliament, he was able to push through a number of anti-corruption initiatives?
That began with the parliament seated on that day. It was a 24-hour session, but then it continued for some time.
And that was an encouraging sign?
It started off in a very encouraging way, yes.
And other than these things going on in the background, with the pause in the aid, the U.S. relations with Ukraine, you testified, are, you stated it was about as good as you'd want them to be?
Can you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
You testified at your deposition that once the aid was lifted, despite all the things going on in the background, that U.S.-Ukrainian relations were strong, were as good as you want them to be.
Yes.
And you referenced that the security sector assistance was lifted, any hold on that, that there was a positive meeting in New York.
That's correct.
At the UNGA, and there was momentum in putting pressure on the Russians. Is that correct?
That is correct.